Hello everybody, my name is Rebekah. Welcome back to my channel. And today's video is going to be focused around how I use art and creativity as an expressive outlet, how it's really helped me cope with my internal issues, my external environmental factors that contribute to my internal issues. There's a lot of research around arts and their ability to distract people from reality sometimes, because sometimes we need that escapism. Definitely with music and writing and film, all of it are means of escapism, and it's really good to distract yourself sometimes from the harsh realities of life. We all need to just scale back a little bit sometimes and just take a deep breath and compose ourselves and then get back to work. But sometimes it's not always the most helpful to work and work and work until you are completely dead, tired, and you're burnt out and you have no ounce of energy left and you can't do your work the best that you can because you're burnt out. So it's really important to not only hone in on what you believe will make you successful and what you enjoy doing, but also to find that balance between work and relaxation, because it's not healthy to do the entirety of either. Because I've had a problem with just thinking in extremes, because I have borderline personality disorder and I have often this black and white mentality where I'm either running around and I'm thinking and moving way too quickly and I'm just all over the place. I'm trying to do everything, but nothing I'm doing is ever getting finished because I'm doing like so many different things at once. Or I'm so tired and depressed from doing that I don't have the energy to do anything and I wind up sitting on my bed and doing nothing all day, and that's not healthy either. So it's really important to find a balance between productivity and relaxation time, and just kind of going back and forth between the two, especially for me, is very helpful. Obviously every individual is different and things will help different people in different ways. And obviously some people think more mechanically minded, more analytically, more mathematically, and then there's the people like me that think more creatively and artistically, and there's those different kinds of people in the world that think different ways. And I'm definitely an artistic, creative minded person, and my boyfriend is the opposite. He's the mechanical, technical minded person, and that's part of the reason that our relationship works, is because we balance each other out in that aspect. But also just in general, like finding people to surround yourself with that you have common interests with but you also share differences with is very important for healthy relationships, because we do have a lot in common but we also have a lot of differences, and it makes a relationship a lot more interesting and healthy. And if we were the same person, it would be boring. If we were complete opposites, that would just cause a lot of tension and conflict all the time. So that's not, but that's a little off topic. How I use art as a creative, expressive outlet for myself. I've used so many different platforms of art to express myself creatively. Obviously, I've been doing YouTube for a while now, and I've also had experience in musical performance, singing, and just listening to music is very helpful as well. And finding artists that I really connect with and songs that I really connect with. Then obviously filmmaking. I've had the natural ability to direct films. I've done it before and I feel very natural when I'm doing it. And just editing videos, filming these videos, producing the videos, things like that. Writing poetry, writing creative stories, writing short stories, writing nonfiction stories, or doodling even. Like when I was younger, I would doodle all the time, and I still do it occasionally because my grandfather was an artist and he was very good at it, and he would often show me his art and draw things for me, and I was always really inspired by his talent for that. And I used to doodle all the time because I was inspired by him, and I'm pretty good at doodling things now. I used to draw more abstract things. Now I can draw actual objects more, but I am not too bad at it. But just all in all, I'm just a very creative minded person, and that's me, and I'm perfectly okay with that, and I'm perfectly okay with honing in on that gift that I have, because that would make sense. Wouldn't make sense for me to be good at something and then not do that thing, because that is the thing that's going to make me successful. I've struggled to grasp that realization until I really grew up and I really matured more, because for a long time I was just so consumed by my mental illnesses. I was thinking more self-destructively, and I was thinking more of like ways to make myself feel even worse than I already did, because that's what I felt like I deserved to feel like. But I realized later on that nobody deserves to live their life in blatant total misery. Like, it's not healthy for anybody to live their life that way. I mean, obviously there's exceptions with terrible people in this world who I wish nothing but torture, but that's a select few people. Most people don't deserve to feel like hell every day, and I know I'm not one of those people. A lot of my pain has been self-inflicted because I perceive things so differently than a lot of people do. A lot of the time when I'm in a very very irrational mindset. My perception of myself and everything around me is so skewed. But when I use my writing and I make my videos, it really just grounds me and centers me back to reality, and it just calms my mind down in some way. It just slows down the racing thoughts in my head. I just pull out a notebook, or I pull out my camera or something, and I'll just start writing or filming, or I'll pick up a guitar and I'll start practicing, or I'll look up a song and I'll start singing it, or something like that, because I just have to just rip it off like a band-aid and just do it. Because if I think about it too long, I'm not gonna actually go through with it, because that's what I do when I procrastinate with things. I wind up procrastinating for a long time till the very last minute. However, when I don't procrastinate and I get things done right when I get the thing to do, I get it done like way ahead of time, and I feel great about it because I'm not rushing through it. It's a lot higher quality work. I don't feel as pressured or stressed to get it done. So it's just like finding the time management balance between all of that is really important too to think about. But it's just like art in general is so healthy for me to use as an outlet, because I have several different mental illnesses, and I've always found that when I start to use some sort of artistic creative platform, then I just feel like myself. I feel like just a lot more stable, and I feel a lot more confident. And it's very important to do things that give you confidence in life, because confidence sometimes just doesn't come naturally to people. It doesn't come naturally to me. It does come naturally to some people, but sometimes confidence just doesn't come naturally to people. And I have always struggled with my self-esteem, and it's largely unfounded. I mean, I've had people do things and say things to me that would impact my self-esteem, yes, but I've struggled with it my whole life, and a large part of it I don't understand where it comes from. What's important is that I've found things that increase my self-esteem, make me feel more confident, make me feel like I'm a successful person. When I found that I was really good at writing poetry, I honed in on it, and I wrote a lot of poetry, and I published a book, and I feel really good about it, and I continued to write more poetry. And then I got into music, and now I'm learning how to write songs. And I wanted to get back into YouTube because I was self-destructive all year last year, wasn't taking my meds, and now I'm taking my meds again, and I'm ready to do things that I actually enjoy doing, and that is art. I just really want to come back to this channel with a boom. I want to just really make it clear to you guys that I'm back this time, and I'm done with the teenage instability, teenage angst. Like, I just want to feel like an adult. I'm turning 20 in less than a month, and I want to feel like I'm an adult, because I'm not going to be a teenager anymore, and that reality is kind of hitting me that I'm going to actually be like a real adult, and I want to feel and act like one. And part of that is doing things that I know I'm good at in order to be successful in life, because you're not going to be successful if you're trying to do things that you just know rationally you're just not good at it. Like, I know I'm not good at math. I couldn't do any job related to math. Like, I couldn't do it. I'm not good at it. But I know I am good at writing, and I know I'm good at making videos. So I'm going to do things that involve those things because I know I'm good at them, and that's what's going to make me successful. So that's like one thing. But what's most important about using art as a tool of expression is that you're using it as a tool of expression, because a lot of people really struggle to express themselves. I have never had that problem, thankfully. I've always known how to express myself through art because I found it early on. A lot of people don't find that early on, and they struggle for a while to find what helps them feel like themselves, and what they really enjoy doing, and what they're really confident doing, and what really gives them a sense of purpose, and what really, you know, balances out their racing thoughts and things like that, and learning how to express themselves as a person. But honestly, I feel like art, any form of art, whether it's writing, watching, or filming movies or TV shows, or watching or filming videos, like YouTube videos or TikToks or whatever, or it's listening to music, or it's singing, or it's playing an instrument, or it's drawing, or it's painting, or it's sculpting, any of those things. It's important for you to try things out, and for you to find what you truly love to do, and what you truly feel like you are good at, and what you feel like you can continue to get better at. Because if you try something and it's just like, I don't see myself being good at this, that's perfectly fine. Like, you can just try another thing. If you have any ounce of hope that this activity might bring you success or might bring you a sense of joy, then keep doing it. You know what I mean? And if you do it more and you continue to not like it, then that's okay. You try and you move on to the next thing. Because there are a lot of different forms of art that you can try to use to express yourself and distract yourself and escape from reality sometimes. So I highly recommend starting with journaling or doodling is my recommendation to start with if you want to find ways to express yourself, because usually pictures or words basically are great tools to use for self-expression. And sometimes people can't always say the words that they feel in the moment. Sometimes it's just really hard for people to express their feelings, their emotions, their thoughts that are deep within them, because they're not on the surface. They're deep down in there, and it's hard for them to express it just out loud to a person in a conversation in that moment. And that's totally understandable. So what I do, whenever I feel like there's something that I want to address with somebody, but I'm afraid that if I try to just address it with them without preparing for it, it's not gonna come out the right way, and it's either gonna wind up insulting them, or I'm just gonna regret saying it, or I'm just gonna word it the wrong way, or something like that. What I do is I literally just write everything in my brain. I just write and I write and I write. I scribble things out while I'm doing it, and I replace words and I add carrots and things like that. It's perfectly okay to do that as long as you understand what it says and what it means. That's what's important. It's not important for anyone else to be able to understand it. That's kind of my writing process, is I just kind of write and write and write and write. That's my filming process too, is I film and I film and I film and I film until I feel like I'm at a comfortable point and I've covered as much as I want to, and then all the rambling and ums and things like that are cut out in the editing. So same thing with the writing. So things like that are really helpful because they're also very time consuming, and for me at least, when I'm not doing something active or productive, I just feel like, what am I supposed to be doing right now? I feel so on edge, like I'm supposed to be accomplishing something. But what I found is that I've struggled to be alone because of that. I struggle to be by myself because I don't know what to do by myself when I'm not like working. So I've found that just listening to music, writing, and creating videos, watching movies, and just really getting into the story of whatever story you're telling or watching is really helpful for distraction and making the time go faster, and just really finding that creative platform to use that works for each one of you individually, because there's so many different forms that it's great. That's a great thing about art, is that it is subjective and it's a broad range of things that you can choose from. There's so many different instruments when it comes to music. There's so many different forms of writing when it comes to writing. There's so many different genres of music when it comes to music. Things like that. There's so many different forms of actual art, like sculpting, painting, drawing, things like that. There's a lot of different forms of that kind of art, and there's just so many different sections of art. The important thing is for you to try things out and see what works for you and see what allows you to feel accomplished. Because like when I wasn't filming videos last year, I was extremely hopeless. I felt so purposeless. I felt like the joy that came from making videos was just gone. I felt like I was just stripping myself of feeling any sort of success, feeling any sort of accomplishment, feeling any sort of joy. And that was my fault. I shouldn't have done that to myself. And I was torturing everyone around me because I was so miserable. Then when I started filming videos again this year, I realized how much I missed it, how much I enjoy it, and how accomplished it truly makes me feel. So that, if that's not a perfect example of what I'm talking about here, I don't know what is. So what's important is that you stick with it, you try out different things, you stick with it, and you hone in on what you're really good at. And that's my best advice when it comes to using art as a creative, expressive platform / outlet. You can start a blog, you can start a TikTok account, you can start a YouTube channel, you can start a vocal account, you can start a Twitter account even, just for like little tidbits of your brain, you know what I mean? So there's so many of these different platforms. I don't recommend Instagram or Facebook though. That's kind of besides the point, but I feel like those platforms are just not good for what I'm talking about here. They're not good for distraction or mental health in any way, in my opinion. I just feel like I don't even like scroll through Twitter much. I more just tweet things because it makes me feel better to tweet things like that. That's how I use social media. I do interact with my fans. Like if someone will mention me in something or tag me in something or comment on something of mine, like I'll respond, but I don't actively seek out things on Instagram or social media. I don't even have an Instagram account anymore, like I said in my last video. Anyway, besides the point. All in all, use your creativity for good, for yourself and for other people, because I truly believe that me writing and making videos and publishing them helps other people as well as myself, because I do it for both reasons. I do it mainly to help other people because that is the way I think. I think in a way that is selfless. That might sound full of myself to say that, but I know it's the truth because I often put other people above myself and my needs. That is not a good thing, but that is something I'm actively working on now that I'm back on my meds and I feel better this year. The point is I'm doing things that I enjoy, and I'm actively seeking out distraction and coping techniques, and I'm doing things that I know will help me and will not be counterproductive. So yeah, that's basically it. I recommend just starting with a journal or listening to music or watching a movie or something like that. Anything you feel like doing that's creative and distracting for you and a means of escapism in some way. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. If you guys liked it, give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. Leave me a comment down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!